Ooh.
Oh, reversing back to what we were gonna say. You were talking about Linkin Park and the screaming that Chester did and give it up.
Yeah.
Do you remember what that whole thought was?
That's what I wanted to do when I reset the game memory. I just wanted to like for 15 minutes straight. Or 15 seconds straight. I wanted to do what Purple Eyes What the did to get the scream out as Berserker in Fate Zero Episode 2. Yes, I am advertising to go watch that. Please do. It's hilarious.
It's so good.
Oh my god. And Purple Eyes What the in case you guys don't know who that is, if you've ever heard of Nun Piece or what's it called?
He doesn't do Seven Deadly Schmucks.
No. He is in Seven Deadly Schmucks.
I was gonna say, yeah, he's involved with them at some point.
Yeah, he does a lot with the Schmuck Squad in what's it called? Jujutsu Kaisen Abridged. He plays the guy that summons the doggos.
Oh my god.
I haven't watched the show, forgive me. I need to still.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, I've heard amazing things about it. But I haven't memorized the names yet because I haven't.
I think the only thing that I'm concerned about is it's gonna get all the unnecessary hype that Attack on Titan got. Like, don't get me wrong, Attack on Titan's great, but like
until the last chapter.
Look, man, we don't talk about that because we all know that animes tend to go that route, except for Full Metal Alchemist.
Except for Brotherhood.
Dude, that's because the original
both.
Full Metal Alchemist didn't actually have an ending.
I know. It did. It had a movie for the ending.
That doesn't count. Which movie are you talking about?
Okay, so at the end of the original animation, there was a movie that went into the life and times of Alphonse Elric after he regrew up again.
Oh, yeah, that movie. Okay,
and then at the end, he, Gluttony, Wrath get their finishing moments, and Alphonse ends up on the other side with Ed. Yeah. And it has depth. And while I still am not entirely sure how I feel about the parallel universe thing involved, I do like the fact that there was consequences for everything that they did in the original anime.
I mean, yeah, because that's essentially what the show was about, was equivalent exchange.
Yeah.
And so therefore you had to have consequences, which didn't make a whole lot of sense in the original anime because they didn't show any consequences.
Yeah, in Brotherhood, literally the only people that paid consequences were new original characters that showed up in the manga, but all died, and the only one that didn't. The only two that didn't are a romantic interest for Alphonse, because during the original anime run, people were mad that Alphonse didn't have a romantic pair-up.
Dude, I was still so angry about that.
And then, what was it? Oh, yeah. Lin gets to survive. And I'm fine with that. Like, Lin was cool, but I also, him surviving made it a little bit better for the fact that all the newie characters died, pretty much. Like, General Chainsaw Arm, coolest dies. Grandpa Ninja dies.
The only one that also didn't die was,
the sister?
the sister. Armstrong's sister.
And, but, Marco survives for some reason.
Dude, that made me upset.
Marco survives. The guy that in the original anime, who gets in trouble for trying to get Ed and Al to make gold from lead.
Yeah.
He survives. Why did he need to survive? Was anyone asking for him to survive? And the only reason why a lot of these people survived was because people complained that a lot of their favorite characters died in the animation because the manga got done. The manga got done way after the original animation, because that's what happens when you give Square Enix your animation.
Oh, for real, dude. They will take you To the cleaner.
Yeah, you better have your shit done before they start working on your thing. Because they will finish it long before you do. They make Final Fantasy for a living. Of course they're going to be able to animate 2D.
Oh, for real, dude. They f***ed around with Disney and lived.
And what was it? Oh, yeah. Mina Tucker dying actually loses all of its weight in Brotherhood when I was looking at it.
Yeah.
Because there's already someone who can make better chimeras in the story of Brotherhood with Shao Tucker being dead. In the original animation, those better chimeras came after he was brought back as a chimera, which made it reasonable that he was there in the first place and a villain. And because without him, those chimeras wouldn't have existed. They wouldn't have been something to kill later. But in Brotherhood, there's just better chimeras that are completely functional, and someone somehow did that without him, even though he was the one that was the most famous for doing it.
Yeah.
Which makes Nina Tucker's death pointless and no longer necessary to the story to give Ed growth.
It's true, though. Like, the only thing that I can say for Nina Tucker's death in Brotherhood was that it only showed a little bit of growth. At least for Al. Not necessarily for Ed.
Al's one of the beautiful moments between both that, like, I feel like they couldn't mess him up if they tried.
Oh, dude, for real. He was just so pure of a soul. Like, there's no way.
In both, he grows from being like, oh no, am I real? Did Ed just say I'm real? To, I can defend my brother. I don't just have to sit back and watch. Mm-hmm. To, I can defend people without my brother. And then at the end of both versions, he makes the grand old sacrifice throughout the... And he also, at the end of Brotherhood, just like the end of the original animation, is willing to travel and do all this extra stuff with Ed to see if he can help him out.
Exactly.
And it's like, dude, Al is perfect in both. He just is. He's a precious little being.
It's true. He was one of the original best boys.
They also did Kimberly right in both, as far as
I'm concerned. Dude, yeah, Kimberly. Even Mustang was pretty... Like, I feel like they did Mustang fairly well, too. Solely because of how he ended in Brotherhood.
Yeah.
He was so OP, but then he got his own, like...
He got his claps.
Yeah, he got his claps, and it wasn't a whole thing.
Yeah. He also, like... In both, he ended the exact way he should. Like, he helped bring down the Fuhrer. Although, I did enjoy the fact that he got to kill the Fuhrer a bit more. Although, I will say, that's not to say I dislike Scar's killing of the Fuhrer. Both make perfect sense.
Scar was also another really good one in both of them. Because he was a little more religiously bound in the original. But then you saw that he had more purpose outside of like the actual religion that was more tied to family.
Yeah. The only thing that sucked about Scar, and it ties into another character, is that Lust died as a character in Brotherhood. Like,
yeah, you didn't even get to see that relationship pan out.
Like, she didn't have any purpose aside from I kill for father, and most of the homunculus kind of suffer.
I was gonna say, yeah, all of them did, because you had Wrath too.
Yeah, Wrath.
Sloth was a big one. Sloth was a big one they missed.
Yeah.
Oh, I see now.
Wrath in the original, and I understand completely why people would call him annoying, but he's fucking Wrath. He's supposed to be annoying and angry. It's Wrath. He showed 700 times more Wrath than Bradley did.
Oh, yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I love him as a character, but as a sin, he didn't show his sin.
Yeah,
Sweet. But he was still awesome. Pride, he was super prideful, and the reason he ended up dying was because he was so prideful that he kept his body part in the house with him.
Yeah.
So much, and ended up being his undoing, and he fucking showed that he truly didn't give a shit about humans at the end of the day. compared to Homunculus. Unlike Pride and Brotherhood, who, as Kimberly put it, lowered himself to humans to defend himself from a human.
Exactly.
And that's when Kimberly's like, mother. Which Kimberly overall, I think, I liked him in both, but he definitely got better in Brotherhood.
I say we're gonna do 2 more rounds each.
Hell yeah.
Because then that'll probably put us at least somewhat close to time.
But Kimberly in Brotherhood sums up exactly why the original for me is better than Brotherhood, as well as why I don't like Bleach as much as I did when I was initially watching it. Because at one point, Kimberly and Hawkeye have a discussion where he's like, look, when you're shooting at these people, don't you ever look away from them, and don't you ever forget them, because they're never going to forget you.
Oh, dude, yeah.
And what did you think you were going to be doing in the military? Did you think you wouldn't be asked to kill people? And that's the biggest point for me overall. In Brotherhood, nobody important or that can change the story ever dies. Ever. There's no real consequence. Even at the end of the day with the Philosopher's Stone.
Yeah.
Like, when he takes in greed, if he could just do that and still carry God within him, then why did he ever split himself up? He had all those Philosopher's Stones to use. And
well, that's that.
And the regular one, Ed dies twice. Al sacrifices himself twice.
Yeah.
Just to really show, like, neither one of them are willing to let the other one die. And Ed actually has to do some going, because he meets Barry the Chopper as a human, almost gets murdered.
Dude, I do actually really enjoy that Barry the Chopper was human for a little bit.
Honestly, that moment in Fullmetal Alchemist, because the original anime didn't have a lot of fighting in it as compared to Brotherhood.
Yeah.
Brotherhood was more like a shonen like that. But it's the only reason why I got into Death Note, or any anime that wasn't about fighting, because it had suspense, it had character development, and after Barry the Chopper, it wasn't done for Ed. Ed had to grow enough balls to kill Greed. But he didn't at first. He had to be forced to kill Greed. And that was like a heavy moment in the show. After that, he had to kill his own mom again. Well, in general.
Well, yeah, it was in general, because she wasn't going down.
Yeah, and that even led to another moment of him and Al having like a split off. There was depth in character. What was that?
What was that?
Digital daggers, the devil within.
What was that?
But yeah. Oh, and the reason why I brought Bleach into it, in case anyone was wondering, Bleach has what I call Bleach syndrome, where everything looks like people should be dying a lot. The main weapon used is swords, and they only get deadlier than swords. And people get sliced in half a lot, and then nobody ever dies on the good guy team.
Dude, yeah, I think that's why that one guy doesn't like Bleach a whole lot, was because, that, and he calls it, Dragon Ball syndrome, where, it's pretty obvious that
only the main character is going to matter.
Well, yeah, but it's also the main character dies, but he doesn't die. He just gets more powerful. Oh, no, but he starts off at level 1 again, only to get more powerful, but he dies again. Oh, no!
It's so true.
That's essentially why he doesn't like Bleach. I think that's why he's hit and miss with Dragon Ball. Granted, his favorite anime is Yu Yu Hakusho.
Yeah.
And that's the only one where there's consistent growth throughout.
Also, Yu Yu Hakusho's writing was just done really well, and
oh, dude, it was.
Bleach kind of ripped a lot of what it did off of Yu Yu Hakusho. I'm a 14-year-old, 15-year-old Spirit Reaper detective who can shoot blue energy out of my finger, out of my sword, and I am commissioned by an old baby man to work as a substitute Soul Reaper spirit detective. and within me is a super ultra mega powerful Hall demon. And someone who has lived thousands upon thousands of years before me is my dad main antagonist.
Yeah.
And while Aizen wasn't Ichigo's daddy, he did literally plot out his birth and him basically being implanted with the hollow that gives him all of his crazy power. So it's just like, oh, and also there is another original substitute soul detective, Spirit Reaper, who is super much stronger than the OG character that we've grown to know and love. What's gonna happen? Are they going to try to kill everything? Is the answer yes? I think so. Also, their teacher is someone who used to be a part of the world that surrounds the character after meeting them. Like Genkai and Kisuke.
Hang on. Shh. Okay, continue.
You're good.
Kisuke was my favorite, though. I loved Kisuke.
I loved him. I was Gothic Cotton Clogs for the longest time. Oh, Kisuke, Okiura, and Toshiro Hitsugai are my favorites from that show.
Dude, Toshiro was super cool.
Yeah. Also, fun fact, if spoilers for anyone who hasn't read the manga, but the captain of Squad 10 before Toshiro was Ichigo's dad. And then Toshiro, I think, wasn't discovered until after his dad went down to Earth and was like, ooh, a Quincy babe. I'm gonna get that chick pregnant with Ichigo.
Dude, I think I got the most upset, though, when Ichigo found out he was also a Quincy.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like, dude, no.
Like, oh, Romeo and Juliet came together and now he's Hollow, Quincy, Soul Reaper, Fullbringer. He's everything but a Bount. Which is filler anyway, so.
Yeah.
It was fun filler.
It was good filler, all things considering what Bleach actually was.
Yeah, I'll give Bleach this credit. A lot of times its filler was fun.
Yeah, it's no Naruto at all, where, after the third season, it's all filler.
Yeah, and not only that, but they, unless it was joke filler, okay.
That was my last go, now it's your last go.
Oh, alright. Like the Watermelon Beach episode that every goddamn anime has.
Oh, Jesus Christ, yeah.
They incorporated all the filler into future arcs. Like, when Ichigo was having, an inner monologue battle, Karia from the Bounce was in there. In his mind going, you know you want to beat me. Oh, yeah, that's another thing that Bleach stole from Yu Yu Hakusho. A lot of the main villains wanted to die. Or have a challenge, so they let the main character get super, super strong. Toguro, and the original Spirit Detective, and Shunsui. Toguro is low-key one of the best antagonists in anime. Fight me. He knew what he wanted. He was a badass. He had his principles. And he drank orange juice instead of beer.
I mean, real talk, though. There's so many good villains or antagonists that are like that. You get Stain from My Hero.
Oh, Stain's great.
And then even Scar is one of the best ones, because he's the one that makes you question, literally everything.
Yeah. Yeah, not just... Because he starts off questioning, the military of his country, then he questions his own religion.
Exactly.
He's human as fuck.
Yeah, and it's villains like that really get you thinking, which is why I think all three of them are pretty good.
Who's another really good villain like that? That just you question them, but you're if you weren't such a dick about it,
Light.
Yeah, light. Although I never thought about the things that Matt Pat brought up.
I haven't seen that one in a long time. I'm going to need to rewatch that.
So Matt Pat brought up that at some point, especially when it was Megami doing the writing, a lot of innocent people probably died because how many people are convicted when they did nothing, and how many people are just in prison waiting for their... Not in prison, waiting in jail to see if they're innocent or guilty. And then they probably had their names written.
I mean, yeah, that's pretty true. I do actually remember a lot about that
now. Damn it. Well...
Yeah, this was a good conversation about lots and lots of anime. This is going to be hard for me to splice up, because usually I try to splice it up by topic. Like the last bit of the Pokemon stream we did, the back half hour is literally Kawaii Yume and I catching all the greetings, which you guys definitely got to see that if you haven't yet.
If I end up making the YouTube video edits of these between with that Pokemon stream and this stream, it's gonna be like not in order of how we did things. It's gonna have like moments where we're talking about an anime splice with like an earlier part of this stream, just so that way it can be split up. And also, so that way some of our more initial scares can be at the back end, so you can enjoy us still shitting ourselves.
I mean, we still did. We just got a little distracted with the weep talk.
Yep.
Anyway, we will see you
on the flip side.
Goodbye, my dude.
Make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, all the things. Yeah. Discord. Yeah.
Discord. Bye, you guys.